Lance, I have a question for you.
Mm, give it
And
to
you
me.
have to answer within 3 seconds, your first instinct. Ready?
Okay.
Am I a nice person?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. I mean, you've never been mean to said my face or to
To
me,
my face.
and
Yeah, but behind it is where it
yeah.
really
I
happens.
mean, who knows? I mean, anybody can say anything, But no, you've always been nice. Why? Did somebody make you feel otherwise?
No, no one made me feel otherwise. Someone
Do I
made
have
me
to go to Texas and beat somebody up? Is that
no,
what you're telling me?
no. Someone made me reflect on myself. Um,
Mm.
and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're cute and you give off like really kind vibes." And I was like, "Thanks, but sometimes I'm not nice." And they were like, "Do you consider yourself to be nice?" And I was like, "Nice isn't the word I would use.
so,
I can
so what you're
be
saying is you took longer to
peaceful."
answer your own question when you
Well,
were asked it.
yeah. I mean, I what I said, and then they ended up just stopped talking to me. So I was like, "That's fine." Um, I said, "I'm peaceful. I can be peaceful."
Yeah, I mean everybody. I mean, I think that's a normal quality most people should have. I would think. I mean, I, I always tell people I'm nice until I'm not.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about it and I was like, what is nice? Do I put others before me? No. Will I give someone money if I have some that's like begging for money? Also, no. I'm just kidding. No.
I'm like in my brain. I'm like, that's not true. You're always nice, and you always put us before you. So I mean,
Well, yeah, y'all are my
you,
friends.
yeah. Oh, you're talking about like it's a rando stranger? Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, oof, never mind. That's gonna get me canceled. I was gonna start talking about politics, and it's like,
mm,
never mind.
I was gonna say
Um,
eight's not here.
It's not here. Well, with that said, this is Slashers, your number one home for all horror media. That's not what it is, but I'm saying it. It's me, Mikey, here with Lance. There's no official host because our dear recently departed aide, we miss
She's
her.
dead. She's on a boat.
No, she's departed from the port.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so she's not here, so we can do whatever the fuck we want.
I told her I was like, oh, mom's gone.
Yeah, the cat's away, the mice will play.
What?
And the first thing I bring up, am I nice? It's like eight is here. Me and my personality crises. But yes, eight is gone. So that gives me a perfect time to ask you,
Mm.
are you reading any scary comic books right now?
I haven't. I think the last thing I got was that's in that genre of style of book writing stuff is Ice Cream Man, which is one of the ones that's kind of like a Twilight or not Twilight. Well, yeah, no, Twilight Zone, like a Twilight Zone kind of
Like a monster of the
book.
week?
Yeah, it comes out like every month or so, and basically it's a collection of different writers and artists doing kind of like horror shorts. So they're all
Okay.
like kind of creepy in their own way with different artists doing it, and it's really awesome. It's a really great book if anybody's out there that really wants to get something that's kind of like if you're not sure you're into the genre and you want to like just kind of like a sampler.
Yeah.
Ice Cream Man is a great way to do it, and you get so many different voices and art at the same time in one book. So it's like, kind of gets you into it's like a little stepping stone into the world of creep and horror.
Yeah. And we always talk about how we're your favorite podcast about your favorite horror media, but really want to talk about movies. So I was like, we need to start extending to other media. And I know one media we have in common is comic books. You
Yeah.
definitely way more than me. And it's not so much because I think you're more of a fan, but you traverse more into things
Mm.
that I will not. Like you're a superhero, you're doing this, you're doing that. I'm like, give me the independent gore, nasty, slutty stuff.
That I don't know if I got you. Did I get you the nail biter?
No, you gave me the bunny one.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, this one right here is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And
I
this is
haven't read
actually
that
the,
one yet.
the murder series one. And that was the one I was telling you about that actually has a whole town that throughout history, serial killers have come from this town.
Oh.
And there's a detective at one point later on, like in the current day, I guess, for the book, um, where this guy's trying to figure it out. And there's this one guy who is the recent serial killer from this town, and he gets let go from prison. You'll find out why and all this other stuff. But he's there, kind of like, how did this guy get out? How is this, even legal? What's this guy doing? Is he just waiting to, murder more people and stuff like that? But this is another great book. I really wanted to get you that. I'll probably end up getting it to you later on.
Hooray!
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna probably find it, because like it was one of the books I really wanted to get for you,
Yeah.
and the one book that I wanted to get for you, it was like it wouldn't have gotten here until like God knows when.
Oh.
So that, or I'm just gonna, either that, or when you come to visit for Spooky Empire, I'm just gonna take you to all the
Ooh,
places.
hell yeah. I'm very excited. If everyone doesn't know, Lance, Aid, myself, Doug, and Yahira will all be going to Spooky Empire in Orlando, Florida. And we're planning to do some in-person stuff there. So get excited and follow us along. This will be in May. Yeah, speaking of connections and discussions, today we are discussing the movie. It's, I'm gonna say 2020s.
It is 2020.
Plagiarize. And the reason why I mixed up on the year is because Amazon says it's this year. Um, like where you can rent it right now says it was released this year, but it was released in film festivals ever since 2020.
Yeah.
So the film is called Plagiarism. If you're trying to look it up, it's spelled Playdurizm. So not the typical plagiarism, it's this weird version.
Which kind of goes along with the movie, really, if you think about it.
It is in English. It's by someone named Jem Degger or Deeger. Jem Deeger is also the main star of the film. I don't know if you knew that. And it also stars Austin Chun as our leading man, Andrew, and Issy Stewart as our leading lady-ish, Drew, which is weird because I'm like Andrew and Drew. That's very confusing.
Yeah,
So, I just have a question, Lance.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Because this was my pick.
Yes, it's
So
bad enough.
if you see this movie, Mikey did not pick this.
I did
I
not
definitely.
pick this. And I was like, wow, Lance, way to call me out.
uh,
But where did you hear about this movie? Because this movie's not streaming anywhere. If you all want to watch it, you have to rent it. I rent it on Amazon, but you can rent it on YouTube, Amazon, and I think Vudu.
because we did pick a different movie initially, which I'm still down to do. But like when you go on YouTube and they have like, oh, you could watch this, or or these are other movies that are relatable in some way or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I guess it was the same. I don't know if it's studio or production studio. Was the same as the one we were going to do today
Okay.
initially. And I saw it and I was like, oh, what is that? And it looked cool because there's a scene in the movie in the very beginning where he looks like he's floating, and he's like in this dreamscape kind of vibe, and he's above this bed, like it's basically in the opening scene. And when it like kind of like either his dream bursts or his whatever happens, he falls and he's on the bed, and he's like, oh, what's going on, where am I, like he
Yeah.
had, he was like totally dazed and confused kind of deal. But I saw that, I was like, oh shit, that looks kind of fucking cool. And I went to watch the trailer, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
I really like this.
The spoiler-free review, synopsis, which honestly don't read any synopsis online because it will ruin it for you like it did for me.
Yeah.
Just know that there's a guy who wakes up without any memory, but apparently he's roommates with this really fucking hot guy. He's a little attracted to him, and the hot guy is giving hints that he's dangerous. But you know me, danger's a green flag. So,
you
um,
and Aid, I swear to God, like if this man literally, if a human being literally says, "Whoa, I'm really
oh,
toxic for your lifestyle," you two are like, "Sign me up."
speaking of me and Aid, my first triggering was the beginning with Drew and what's
Oh
his
yeah,
name? His name is Demi, or they
D.
call him D.
Yeah,
Um, and I was like, has Lance seen this before? And he's trying to tell me something.
yeah.
But From here on out, there will be spoilers. I think you should watch this movie. Trigger warning: if you are not a fan of sexual assault, happens in a big way.
Yeah.
So just know that. Oh, by the way, guys, this month is April Drools and Fools. A month
Nice.
of a month of oh fuck, I had it. What was it? A month of psychedelic trips.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the idea of a month where it's just kind of like because it's technically in the April Fool's month, so it kind of is nice to see like the misleading kind of horror, where you don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't think we've really ever done any stuff like that
No,
that
especially
I've
when it
seen.
comes to like drugs. I mean, it sounds bad
Yeah,
to be like drug movies, but like there's a lot of movies out there where it's like it's a horror movie, but also the horror is drugs are involved, like mentally altered state drugs. So you're like, I don't know
yeah,
what's real.
yeah. Did you think he looked like a little like Chris Evans? Like he
Yes,
looks like Chris Evans' like younger brother or something like that. Like it was like
yes.
the whole time it kept going, and he makes certain like uh mannerisms, like face things. Like, I don't know if he was trying to do that with like the short beard and like he was like,
Hmm.
yeah. Da, da, da. I'm like, is this? I'm like, and I went to go look at the cast. I'm like, does Chris Evans has a brother that I don't know about?
He does, and he's gay, but he does not look like this.
Oh,
Uh,
really? So it kind of fits.
but no, this guy's name is Austin Chun. He's from Alabama. I looked him up also because he's just a beautiful man. But he does look very much like Chris Evans, younger and slimmer. He's still muscular, but
Yeah.
Chris Evans is a beast of a man. This guy's more like a swimmer's body. There's one issue I've had with the movie.
This whole movie I've got, you know what? It feels like I'm you and you're Aid in this situation because usually you're the one that's doing this to Aid. So it's kind of ironic that she's not even here to enjoy this moment that I've done this.
I know. She's like, and you made me watch this movie.
Yeah.
Also, funny note is this is Demir, Jem Digger, the creator, writer, and director of the film. And I just couldn't take him seriously because he looks like McLovin with long hair. There's a lot of um, things that I can identify with being a queer person in terms of like coping mechanisms and stuff. It actually
Right.
really bummed me out. So thank you, Lance, for making me watch it. But
Oh,
um,
so sorry.
but that's
I wear
okay.
my Selena shirt to make you happy a little bit.
She's dead. Now I'm even more sad. I'm just kidding. I struggle with this, and a couple of my other filmmaker friends struggle with this too. When you write, direct, and star in your own film, I personally wouldn't want to play this role if this was my film because I don't want people to think, oh, you just hired this hot guy to have like these sex scenes with, or you hired this
Oh,
hot
right, right.
guy to fulfill some fantasies that you've had in your story and whatever, whatever. And so, like, even with Noelia, we did that, and Noelia was supposed to be a lot more sexual than it is. And a
Yeah.
lot of it was because I was like, maybe I don't need to do that in my own movie because I don't want people to be like, wow, you just wanted to do that this whole time. It's like, no,
You're like living your fantasies in a movie, calling it a movie.
exactly. Yeah. I was kind of struggling with that in my head, but towards the end, it kind of went away. And I was like, oh, okay, now, because this actor's the main, not the creator, but the Andrew, he does really well and he's really into it. And like when he switches from like, you know, being, I don't want to say straight because we don't even really know what his
Right. I mean, he
preference
could be
is.
bi. I mean, or even like
Yeah.
he seemed very fluid in the sense of like because even he says in at one point in the movie he's like it's not about that. It's just where I'm at, and if it's what it is, then it's what it is.
Well, it's because he's
And
never killed anybody. The use of lights and stuff and colors is really well done. It kind of reminds me of the movies that they used to do like in the 90s, like those like psychedelic movies.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But one of the
Like
main issues I've had is in the beginning, he wakes up with no memory and he's like, and he just decides to stay in the house with, I mean, the guy is really hot, so maybe I would too. It's like, I lost my
yeah,
memory, but I didn't lose my sense of taste.
it's like my sexuality's still there.
Yeah. And yeah. And so the whole time I was like, you should probably go to the cops if you don't know what's going on, especially if this bitch just tried to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, so that was one thing that I was like, ah, it's a little unbelievable. But if you kind of just like, you have to essentially suspend your, what is it? Suspend, just whatever they call it, suspend your disbelief. I don't know. Basically, give the movie grace to be wacky because
Yeah, yeah.
you understand why at the end. For the majority of this movie, it's basically D has a little bit of a crush on this guy, and this guy has a girlfriend question mark. And
Yeah.
the
A lot of question
girlfriend,
marks.
yeah, but like the guy like really likes hanging out with D, and so he just has sex with the girlfriend, which by the way, we open up with a sex scene, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, the guy's really hot, but if that's how he has sex, I'm not into it. He's just standing there while she's on like some,
Like rope harness thing, right? Like I
it's
thought it was a bondage thing for a second, so I was kind of like, I was like, oh, okay.
no, it's those weird things that like those long curtains that people hang on and do like flips, like aerial acrobatics or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. And like
yeah,
she's doing all the work and he's literally just standing there. And I'm like, okay, I am too lazy for this. So
yeah.
there goes my fantasy. Oh, and this is also something that I didn't get. So obviously we need to have sexual tension. So while the girlfriend's dying in the bedroom, as she should have been, the two guys, the guy who's throwing up is D, and Andrew's like, "You need to take a shower," and he's like, "Okay," and so he's like about to get in the shower. He's like, "No, no, like, you have." He doesn't say this, but his eyes are like, "Got to take your clothes off," and he's like, "Oh." So he takes his clothes off and he's still wearing his underwear. And then Andrew still doesn't let him get in the bathtub or the shower. And he looks at him like, does this weird head nod thing, like those two. So he gets naked. He's in the shower. And Andrew's like, first of all, it's throw up. So that's gross. But he's like soaping up his hands and like lathering up D in the shower to wash away his throw up. And D just like looks at him. He's like, I can't. I'm like, you can't what? Like he's not doing anything. I mean, he's washing throw up off you, but like, is he trying? Like, if that was happening to me, and this is also something else, straight guys out there, don't be playing with your gay friends like this because this happens. This happens. Um, it's like if that was me, I'd
Mm.
be like, this is one of those weird, unexplainable straight guy things that I'm thinking way too much into. And then I'd be like, I can't. And he'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, well, don't you want to have sex with me? It's like, no, I'm helping you get your throw up off your face. And so I was like, he hasn't even like tried to like hit on you yet. And you're just like, I can't. So I was like, calm down, girl. You're not that hot. But yeah, so also PSA, straight guys don't do this to your gay friends. And then
Let you just sit there in your throw up. Is that what you're telling me? So
don't make us get naked in front of you while you're shirtless and
yeah.
wash it off. And then like talk about not leaving the room when you're about to fuck your girlfriend, and then have really deep conversations, and then take us to the club and make out with two girls in front of us. True story, happens to everybody in the gay community.
That sounds so sad. It's like you're like, oh.
It's just like honestly, this that part made me think of Jennifer's Body. You know how like Jennifer was doing all this like sexuality
Mm,
stuff to have like a power play over needy? That
yeah,
happens when gay guys make friends with straight guys. It's happened many times to me.
yeah. Oh.
It's fine. You know
I'm
why
like
it's fine?
in my head, I'm like this going like my hair going, all right, check, check, and check.
Oh, I know.
Nice. Did you because I mean technically the girl tries to kill uh the one dude in the beginning, D,
Mhm.
at one point. And did I this is probably the first time you get to see a really cool scene where he's actually using dental floss, which I thought was kind of funny, to
Yeah.
sew up her wound, which I don't know if that's a real thing you should be using or not.
No, that's another red flag for me. When I was like,
He's like,
this
oh, this
is
will
gonna
be
be
minty.
Mitchy. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
and I think she said something like it stings. Well, no shit, it stings. You have peppermint in your face, like in your head.
Yeah.
But that actually brings up my next point. So
Mm.
back to being gay. Stop trying to take over the episode with your heterosexuality. Everyone always thinks like a gay person's biggest arch nemesis is straight guys. But let me tell you something. What's worse than straight guys is your straight friend's girlfriend that thinks you want him. I cannot
Uh,
tell you how many of those bitches. Women, women months over, I can say it. But like
Is
that
it?
has yes. When this episode comes out, it'll be over.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
that is 100% true. I mean, they're not going to try to kill you, but it's like that is worse than a homophobic straight guy. It's like, calm
Really?
down.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
It's,
But your
I
mortal
just,
enemy is straight men's girlfriends, basically.
well, dot, 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 that think you
Yeah.
want their man.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Very true.
Because
I didn't seem one way when I said that.
it was, and it's like, there's some, like, I have friends that they do it as a joke, and I think it's funny. It's fine when they're like, oh, go hang out with your boyfriend. It's like, yeah, it's me. Ha ha ha. But there's some, I've had friends whose like girlfriends would not let them hang out with me. Like, what am I supposed to, like, how do I prove that you want, am I supposed to eat,
Yeah.
eat your pussy? Like, well, I don't know what you want me to do to show that I don't want your boyfriend, but he's also my friend. And then what's worse is that you're like friends with them before they even meet this girl. And then she's like treating you like you're like the other woman. And you're like, ugh.
I was here before you, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, real quick, we mentioned it before, but also one of the main points of the movie is he's like, hey, what changed? Like, why do you like me now? And he's like, well, you've never killed anybody before. And so basically, now that he's killed someone, he basically is insinuating that who he shares his life with has to have the same sins as him. And
Right.
so, since he's killed someone now, they share the same sin, so he's able to share his life with him, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Straight guys are weird. And then he's like, I don't care what you do. And I was like, you should care a little bit. If he's
Yeah.
killing people, we all have our limits.
Yeah.
Um,
Obviously not D.
I
He's
mean,
like,
I'm not gonna
hey,
say anything.
maybe Andrew's pack, and he was like, nope, nope, I'm good with this.
Yeah, he's
It's
got
like,
that Lincoln log. But yeah, so we snap back to reality and realize what's going on. And the whole world that we are in is a coping mechanism because the video store that Dee frequents to go buy movies or rent movies that this actor is in, is ran by two men who they're nice to him and they, let him watch the movie before they can even distribute it. So,
I think they're bootlegging it, honestly.
yeah, they're making copies and you find out what happens, which basically is these guys are like, you want to see how we copy these movies? And he's like, sure. So they play the movie that his fantasy world is in. And he's like, oh, I'll just sit here and watch it. I watched this movie 5 times in a row. I don't care. And so he notices that like the door's locked, they have a camera set up, and they're putting on like pig masks. And just like in Jennifer's Body, he's like asking questions and they're just completely ignoring him. And he's like, I think I gotta go. And so he gets raped and they film it. And so I guess they make snuff films.
I, if you're not prepared for this, like it's if you're not into those things, it's brutal. It's
And
like,
good
I
for
mean, like,
you.
yeah, yeah,
If you're
yeah.
not into those
And,
things, that's great. But
yeah.
watching this part, I was like, okay, I feel kind of bad for like thinking that, this guy just wanted to have sex with hot guys in his movies. Because it is a really like powerful scene.
Yeah.
And when they're done with him, they're like looking at the footage and he's on the table like pulling his pants up. He's looking at the movie that they played, which is, one of his favorite actors, and essentially he like sees the actor of Andrew on screen and he like crawls towards him and in a metaphysical way
Like a
goes in.
savior almost, right? Like you felt
Yeah. Yeah, like he goes into the TV.
this was a safe space. I mean, I guess if you think about it, that was like his like safe haven.
Our final comparison of Necromantic is very disturbing, intense final scenes. And basically, he crawls into the TV, goes to his savior slash Andrew. We've seen Andrew sew up the girl's face, and I think he also sewed something else in regards to like stitching, like skin. Forgot what it is, but
Oh
so
yeah, I don't know. I didn't remember the head. That was about the only thing I know until this last scene, which was like FX wise was pretty fucking awesome.
yeah, I don't know how they did that. Like it looked
Yeah,
like, especially on the lip. But basically, if anybody's heard that song by the Spice Girls, "When Two Become One,"
Nice.
they
I love the reference.
thank you.
Yeah,
They
that's great.
cut open their stomachs in a very romantic way, and they get floss and a needle, and they sew their skin together to where their stomachs are connected, and then they do the same thing to their lips, and it's just kind of insinuated that he I don't know. I don't know what the message is. Is he saying that he's inside of him the whole time? Is he saying that they're gonna die together? Is he saying that he
They're not
loves
embodying each other.
himself? Yeah, but and then it ends.
Yeah, it's a like honestly, it's like another movie that kind of like not that it really is a slow burn because there's a lot of different random things that do happen, in between here. But this is another one of those movies where the end really kind of pays off.
Yeah, yeah, because
Like it's a lot.
it's kind of a slow burn story wise, but because of all the flashy colors and the trippiness of it, it goes by really quickly. Um, and it's only 82 minutes, I think, so it's hardly
Yeah,
anything.
like I think what like 127 technically if you're going by the hour slash minute.
Yeah, so it's a really quick watch. I'm kind of annoyed that this isn't streaming anywhere because I think it is really good and I think people would really like it. So thank you, Lance, for feeding me with gayness, trauma, and pretty colors.
So you're saying I got you with all the plethoras. Nice.
Especially the trauma.
Yeah. Well, I figured if Abe was gone, like I would have to like, do
Yeah,
my baby boy up and do him well.
yeah. AIDS gone. Let's watch a movie with a really sick rape scene.
Oh
So
God, yeah. She would have probably lost her shit if she saw that
yeah,
scene.
yeah. No, because you don't. There's no hint that it's coming. There's
Oh
no
no, it just
warning. Just happens.
seems
Like,
like
oh,
camera. You see that camera, and they lock the door. I was like, oh fuck, run, kid,
mhm.
run.
Yep,
Like, how do you not know what's about to happen to you right now? It's like
I
you're
know.
in the back room.
You
Like,
on candid camera.
ugh.
But either way, I think my final thoughts are it's really good. I started off kind of like, but I really liked it. McLovin did great by the end.
It's so
Chris
funny.
Evans
I
was
can't think
phenomenal.
over your shoulder right now, and Chris Evans. So it's like
I know.
McLovin and Chris Evans, like Captain
Yeah.
America and
Here you go, everybody. Your
McLovin.
fan fiction of Captain America and McLovin happening right now. But no, I want to say I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I recommend watching it if you can handle the context at the end. But I hope that it ends up somewhere streaming so more people have access to it.
Yeah, I honestly like I feel the same. Like I was actually I thought it would be a little bit different, you know what I mean? Just because I was hoping for a little bit more blood. That's the only thing I was really hoping for, and like it was like you still got some decent scenes, you know what I mean? And the sewing scenes are pretty awesome, like in the sense of effects and kind of a gore in its own sense,
Yeah.
like mutilation type of gore, more than an
Disturbing
actual.
stuff.
The last part of this movie is like both scenes are just brutal to beautiful in a sense,
Yeah.
and saddening. Like it's all like a lot of emotions in the last part of this. So it's like
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god,
Like we said, we both recommended you watch it, so you should definitely give it a go. You got the slasher's stamp of approval, the
we
slasher's
do.
slash of approval, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first episode of our April Drools and Fools, a month of psychotropic trips.
Yeah.
With that, thank you guys for listening. Do us a favor and give us a like, share our podcast, tell your friends. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/slasherspod. You can find me on Instagram at Horror and a Half Show. You can find Lance on Instagram at Zombie versus Hate. You can also, if you have Facebook, follow our page, Mutant Goons from Beyond. And Instagram, we have 2 pages, Mutant Goons from Beyond and Slashers Pod. If you want some cool merch, check out our Redbubble. It's slasherspod.redbubble.com. We have a new logo, and I'm working on another one. So hopefully, we'll be able to have 2 new awesome designs to show you
Yeah.
guys to advertise on your very supple chests.
And don't forget, we will be over at Spooky Empire in May, and we should have some cool little giveaways.
Yes.
Maybe hopefully some stickers, maybe even some shirts. So hopefully that'll be a thing. And then I think we're still trying to do maybe for at least Orlando. I think Aid, me, and even Austin, we were talking about trying to do something for one of our local horror stores that are here
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And if anybody out there who does a local shop out there and about and want to sponsor some stuff, then we can sponsor you and give your information out so places. Mikey's in Texas. We're here in Florida.
Yeehaw.
Doug and Yahira and Jake and all of them are out there in California, and Jason's in Carolina. So
North Carolina.
is it? Yeah, I didn't know which one it was. I was like,
One of the Carolina. He'll cover both of them.
Yeah, he'll get both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you want to like help us out and do that, and then don't forget Patreon. I think you already said that, or did you not? I don't
No,
know.
I said Patreon, yeah. So if you are in the Florida area or Orlando area and you're going to be at Spooky Empire, hit us up. We'll be happy to meet you and maybe give you some cute little goodies.
Yeah.
But with that said, thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you. Goodbye and don't die.
Die.
Oh, Lance. Oh, I'll do AIDS whale call. Good morning.
Just gonna kill you.
Nah, she won't. Not unless the Bermuda Triangle gets her first.